mentioned that today, that they remember when Portland and Seattle got pounded by snow like 5 years back. And it was a lot of snow, and we were pretty much stuck wherever we were because it was like 18 inches, I believe, was the last big snow that we had, which is a lot for us. I know some places will get 18 inches in a day and they'll just sweep it away like it was nothing, but that actually is a lot for Seattle. My favorite thing about snow.
8 or 9 years ago, we had that bad ice storm.
Yeah, I got stuck in downtown Seattle trying to drive on I-5 that night for hours. That was miserable. And like the worst part about living around here with snow is that we love the snow and we like having it up in our mountains, but we have a lot of elevation changes before you get to our mountains, even in our downtown quarters of Seattle. If you've been there to go to PAX, you know, walking from Pike all the way up to the convention center is rough. That is a journey and a half.
Yeah, you gotta watch out for those Lahar zones, huh?
Ooh,
am I right?
Lahar zones. Look at you using the correct terminology.
When rainy goes, boom, you don't want to be in those Lahar zones. So hopefully the snow doesn't do the same thing when you get too much extra water, right?
You just said words. I don't know what they are, but you said words.
You don't know what that means? Why did? Is Torben in the Lahar zone?
Time to drop an education bomb on Torby. He's not in the Lahar zone, so he's good, but that's when, if the mountain were to erupt, all of the glacier that is up on there, all the snow you see, it will instantly evaporate. A lot will turn into steam, but most of it's going to turn into water. And it's going to flow down the ravines and those big glaciers that we have into the rivers that feed off the mountain. And there may not be as many towns in between, like Tacoma and Seattle as there used to be after that, because that whole valley may just be gone.
Yeah, you're gonna want to make sure you're not in that.
Yes, that's one of the things they teach you in Pacific Northwest geography when you're going through the school system here, is about lahars. And all I learned was never to buy a house down in the valley, because there's a potential that if the mountain goes, you are just shit out of luck. You're going to be 7 feet underwater at least.
Nope.
On top of the fact that it's probably bubbling a little bit and filled with all the other shit that flowed down from further upstream. So, don't want to be there. Nope, don't want to be there. Always live up on the hill. You live in a good spot, Aaron. Out where you are, highlands, not lowlands. You're fine. You're safe.
Okay, I'm good. You can be down wherever you are. I'm good.
Yep. You got to be up on the plateaus around here.
I am so glad that he is in the safe zone. And with that, I think we got to welcome you to the Next Level Theory Crafting. Another week, Thursday, my favorite day of the week. Oh, it's just so stoked. This is episode number, 15, 16. And we are in the last week of February. And this week's show is, it's the show where Kyle and I, we discuss current events, news, and trends relating to the games industry. What's up? We got a finger?
Oh, please. It's February 11th.
Yeah, it is February.
You said the last week of February?
Yeah, I did. You see, so the problem is, here's the problem. Your boy's got a new job, okay? And he's a little distracted, all right? And when I was writing my intro previously and thinking about where we were sitting in the month. Yes, I've messed up, all right? So all right, so this is, apparently it's February 11th. It is not the last week of February. So, yeah, this is
rewind.
Welcome to the Next Level Theory Crafting. It's the show where Kyle and I, we discuss current events, news, and trends relating to the games industry. And for the next hour, we are going to be educating, pontificating, and evaluating where our industry is going and why. And we thank you for coming along for the ride and for enjoying the shit show that it already has started out to be. Before we get into it, I just want to say a quick shout out and thank you as always to our sponsors, Blue Microphone and Aver Media, for supporting the show. Thank you so much. Couldn't do this without you, and we appreciate the continued support. So this month's theme, we're talking about content and you. And tonight we're going to get into a little bit of gear review and microphones. We're going to talk about Clubhouse, and probably even get a little bit of juicy WandaVision theory crafting in there too. Talk about the latest episode, catch up a little bit. Tonight we're joined by a very special guest. He's going to help us dive into the details. He currently works as a producer at ESL DreamHack. He is also the host of X at the Next Level, which can be found right here on this channel every Friday at 6 p.m. His name is Aaron, aka Torben. Welcome to the show, buddy. It's great to have you on.
What up? Thanks for that wonderful intro.
Intro.
I just yeeted your intro off the ledge with the whole interrupting. So as At least I can do is be quiet for the rest of it.
Yeah, it's okay. That's why I brought you on the show so you can call me out of my BS. So,
Nothing gets by Torben. Speaking with someone who has been in a lot of meetings with Aaron over the years, nothing gets by Aaron at all, except for spelling mistakes occasionally. But that is a group effort.
Wow.
ooh,
Wow.
I love
Shots
you.
fired.
It's okay. I had to pull something out.
I know where you sleep, all right? Like,
Don't fuck with me, sir. I know where the fuck you sleep.
And this is the content that you can expect from Next Level. Merging together. And this is not even the shouting at the Next Level. This is just the serious business discussions that Aaron is normally in. We're letting him take the wig off, take the hair out, let his hair down, whatever that saying may be. I have too much hair. I need to get rid of it. It's getting cut tomorrow. But letting you be you, Aaron. You asked me when I invited you to be on, like, what Aaron do you want? And like, what fucking Aaron do I want? I want you. I want be whoever the fuck you want to be tonight. You get to be. I mean, don't be whoever you want because I know what goes on in that imagine. No,
okay?
God damn it. Yep, I made that mistake. I apologize. I want to take it back. But you can be you. You can be whatever version of Aaron that you're really hoping to be tonight. If that's the professional Aaron with some serious advice, we take it. If it's crazy and you pull the wig out of the corner and we're wondering why the shark is chasing you around your office, I don't know. We'll take that too. But either way, I think this is gonna be a fun hour of conversation.
you mean that dark?
ooh.
Darky, it's been a long time, man.
Or the wigs down there?
Yes.
Over. I don't know where they are.
No,
Those
he's
ones.
not talking about
They're
those.
somewhere
He's
near
not
the Millennium Falcons up there.
Somewhere.
So Torben, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do professionally in the industry? What do you do? What kind of things do you work on? And what sort of stuff are you involved with? And what gives you credibility to talk about content in this space?
I mean, that's a statement. My motto is I like doing cool shit. I'm a programming producer for DreamHack. I'm responsible for a lot of content for the festivals and online content that we do. Too much to go into without sounding too wordy. So just know that primarily my focus is around content creation with content creators and helping support the overall goals that we have both internally and externally when we are producing things for DreamHack ESL. So things like DreamHack Tonight, DreamHack Plays, and Community Clash, which I work with Kyle on. Several different products that we are working on for online, content, working with developers, publishers, and content creators across the board. Just doing, again, cool shit. So I wear a lot of different hats in general, and it's hard to really say what one thing I do more than the other. I do a lot.
Do you wear more hats or do you herd more cats?
Yes.
As the role that you I've seen you fulfill over the years of getting your feet wet with DreamHack is our stream studio is one of the main ones. You wrangle how many unique content creators every single time that we do one of those?
It depends, but typically I'm looking at 300 to 400 applications coming in, and then around 100 plus streamers coming through the zone throughout the event, and sometimes more than that depending on what the flow is. So if we have people come from outside, we also have additional. So it's literally, we have a jam-packed schedule of 168 sessions in total that we produce, and they're always full.
That's a lot of talent at the end of the day. That is so many people to try and keep track of. Wow.
Talent.
I was being polite. I called them cats before, so talents is a polite way of saying this, I believe. But they're also at, like, the geek nerd heaven / Disneyland that we create running around, and you have to bring them back to do their job, essentially. And it's really entertaining to watch how many of them are just running around. They get distracted with what's going on at the show, and they just enjoy it. I mean, Mitch knows. You've been to enough and seen how the sausage is made.
Yeah, it's like Disneyland for nerds. I love it. And the Stream Zone is always one of my favorite parts to go actually visit at the DreamHack show, mainly because you actually get to see a lot of the gear and get to see a lot of different gear and in the wild, so to speak. And not to mention the cool ass computers and PC cases, but just all the cool stuff. So Torben, can you give me a little bit of context about like what kind of gear is actually in like a Stream Zone? Like what are the different, I don't know, components and all the cool stuff that kind of go on there? Like, ooh, you got some LED fans. I like that. And that's nice.
So a lot of the Stream Studio itself, this is actually a similar computer to what we use. With RGBs and everything, I turned it on because I wanted to show all the pretty lights. I'm gonna turn it back off because I haven't even touched this thing yet. So
it's a figure piece.
Primarily what we do is we design the Stream Studio to be an experience, right? We want them to essentially walk in, come in and sit down and stream, and then hate the fact that they don't have the technology and go out and buy it. That's the goal. So from everything to when they sit down, to the camera positioning, the lighting, the mouse placement, the keyboard placement, all of it's crafted. I spend usually around 2 to 3 hours when I get on site just designing the desk layout and how that's going to look, how that's going to feel, what it's going to look like when you sit down, when you stand up, when you move around, when you move left, right, where the camera is going to be looking. So all of it's very thought out and then placed, and it's copy and pasted. So I literally set up the main one and then I go from that to the next. And so we have things like, you know, Elgato Stream Deck. We have RGB keyboards that are mechanical. We have, you know, 1600 or 16,000 DPI mice. We have, you know, C920 cameras, just depending on, and then we also upgrade stuff too, just depending on what we're doing. So, I mean, I'm very, very focused on quality and what it looks like, because you can get away with a lot with the C920, believe it or not, just with lighting alone. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. You can actually have a really, really cool experience with the C920. And then other things like the Go XLR, right? Where we actually have a Go XLR, and that's the audio experience where you can actually do nutty things with Go XLR, but you can also sound super, super clear and crisp and get that audio performance, because that's something that really matters to a lot of streamers, to have that come across when you actually are streaming. So everything that I do in that zone is purposely placed and methodical about the technology that's put in there to ensure that it's the best experience possible.
I think the quote that we normally have is we want them to at least be better than home, if not an equal to, when that kind of experience is done. Like, you imagine the higher end streamer can come in and have a Go XLR at home, but how many of the streamers that we give the opportunity to stream at these shows have a Go XLR, can even get their hands on them right now? Not many.
Still waiting.
Someday.
Still waiting. It's still on back order. It's still on back order.
It's going to be on back order too, because the stock allocation isn't coming. They're not. There's
an ongoing bid at this point about my Go XLR that I've been waiting for 2.5 months now.
I know the manufacturing process, and they haven't actually manufactured anything in over 9 months. So the likelihood you're going to get it, very slim, sir.
So you mentioned the Go XLR, and yeah, I'm hoping I'll get it eventually. Maybe before 2020.
One day. At
this point, maybe. You mentioned the Go XLR, but one thing you did not mention actually in the Stream Studio setup was actually the microphones. I'm curious what you guys do for a microphone setup. Is it all headset, or do you actually do like freestanding boom arms and stuff, or what goes into the Go XLR, I guess is the question.
So the microphone is not as good as I want it to be. I'm just going to be honest, because it's not up to the quality that I want it where it's at. We actually have a stage mic on and it's a cordial stage mic that actually has one direction. And the reason for that is because of the amount of sound that happens within the studio if you don't actually have a cordial mic with a directional broadcast. So like, for instance, the blue microphone has an omnidirectional, so you can actually talk in several different places and get the full strength of the vocals, versus the cordial mic that you're going to have that we use is a stage mic where you literally have to eat the mic, right? You have to actually have it right here in order to make sure that you have that. I don't like that mic, but we have to use it, because if we don't, everything in the entire convention center will come across the stream. Everything. So we have to be very specific about how we actually produce that audio as a whole. Yes, we have boom arms. Yes, we have mics, but one day we're going to figure audio out, and then we're not going to have this issue, because audio is the biggest bane of my existence in general. Like it is hard to tune in audio on a show floor, and I've had our audio engineers coming over and sitting down with me for multiple hours trying to figure this shit out, and we still haven't fixed it fully. So it is what it is.
Well, I mean, when you got 5,000 people in a convention center or whatever, in one hall or whatever, right? And they're all talking and yelling, and then you got esports going on over here, and fireworks, and you got music going on over here, and then you got like all the people. Yeah, it's just madness, man. And then you have all it's the echoes. And I never actually thought about using the not an omnidirectional mic though, as like using more of the. Is that a cardioid mic, or what's the actual name for that kind of mic? Is it cardioid mic?
It's a single microphone audio producer. So like inside of the blue microphone baby bottle that we have, there's 4 different mics in here, right? As far as the pickups that it has. So it can actually go either way. So it can come, if you look here, it can come, you can do up here, or you can do here, or you can even do the sides, and it picks up. Versus a stage mic only has one, and it's one direction, and it's right here, and it's super focused. It's like this. So there's one section right here that's going to be focused on, and it's a focal point for a reason, right? Because you want to add all the sound to go to that one microphone and nothing else. And that's where, if anything outside of that's coming in, you're going to get a lot of outside noise and background hitting this as soon as the mic opens. And that's the biggest problem that you run into, is the second the mic opens, how much sound is it picking up? Right.
A lot.
So you want more refined and focused than anything else, and that's why we use that mic.
Now these ones.
Not those. We're not. Well, I don't think we'll ever use them, to be honest.
Yeah,
Not in the
no,
stream studio.
that's the problem, is that like they sound so good when you're in a quiet room, but when you have any other noises going on, like even if I click on my keyboard, you can start to hear that in the background. That is an audible sound. But
I don't think I can take this one apart, but effectively what I'm saying is, with this microphone right here, all you're doing is you're banding this together so that the sound goes right here and nowhere else. And that's the focus that you want to have. You don't like, because this is so open, because this has other places to go, you have the problem of sound coming in. So you want to close everything off so it's just right here and no other sound can be picked up. Why are you breaking? I'm not. This is my old mic. Shut up, heel. Fuck you.
What about USB versus XLR? Right? Like, what kind of connections are you actually running from the mic into the Go XLRs? And have you noticed a difference in quality? I've always wondered this, as far as XLR versus USB and just how they perform and kind of the differences there. What have you observed there?
Again, I have another one. Blue microphone is actually, this is the.
You have another
Snowball.
one?
Yeah, Snowball is. I have multiple mics. I do a lot of testing. Shut up. So the Snowball is actually USB. So with USB, the problem with USB is actual transfer speed. And what it comes down to is that even with a 3.0 speed, you get audio latency. And that's why XLR is just superior, period. The actual transfer rate, so think of it as a pipe, right? So you have a big pipe of water, right? And as you have this water and it's flowing through, the bigger the pipe you have, the better sound quality you get. So with USB, it's so refined and so small that you're not pushing enough data through. So with audio, because of its sound waves and everything, XLR allows bigger throughput through the communication that it does. And that's why you get better quality, because it can actually produce better sound faster. So it can process that sound faster. So while it's not processing the sound fully, the XLR is doing all of the work as far as that soundboard. But the Go XLR, but that's where the XLR just is superior quality for now. I will say that I know several different people that are in the industry working on making USB just as good, if not better, than XLR.
well, that was going to be my next question. Like USB-C can transfer at gigabit speeds, like crazy speeds. And if we're talking about being able to transfer data, how can a 3-pin cable that's been around for how many decades now be the highest quality rate that we can transfer at? That's fascinating.
So it's literally because of the wiring. That's it. It has to do with the wiring and what it's actually doing. So you have different. So USB cable naturally isn't meant to push audio. It's not. That's not what it was designed for. It was designed for transferring data. So you're trying to use a cable that wasn't designed for audio. That is the main issue there with that whole technology. So, and this is where, again, to your USB point, USB 3 point, it's a different type of, it's like fiber, right? With fiber, it just has a bigger bandwidth that you can push. That's what USB-C is going to bring to the table. And I think that's what's going to be the game changer once this all actually hits the table. So I know of some stuff that's going to be coming down the pipe that I'm super excited for, that is going to be utilizing USB-C. And when it actually hits, it's probably going to kill XLR.
Yeah, you think about the interfacing options with that are available. You're like, you mean I can just plug it into a USB-C in on my MacBook and it's going to work?
Yeah.
And I can run software?
Or a phone, right? So I was actually going to ask you about phones. I didn't think we were going to talk about USB-C, but in the context of producing content on the go on your phone, new social channels, etc. I mean, imagine being able to plug a blue microphone in via USB-C into the phone, or any sort of super premium microphone. Now you have like a mobile setup with all that same quality, and you don't necessarily need to bring your entire rig with you. You just need a nice mic.
They already have that. So there's already USB-C mics. You can already do that right now today. The problem that you're going to run into is, again, the audio quality, right? Because you don't have a processing unit. So the other main problem with a microphone itself is that it's not processing the sound. All it's doing is transferring. It's transferring from the mic itself to the cable and then going out to wherever that is. That's why it has to go into a soundboard or something else, because it has to process the sound.
This is typically this is a preamp, right? In music world, I believe. Okay.
So you have your soundboard and preamp. So you have phantom power, you have dormant, like there's a bunch of different terminology. I'm not going to go into everything, but ultimately what it comes down to is that because you just have a mic itself, that doesn't mean it's naturally just going to work, right? USB works because it can speak to the computer itself, just because that's how it is. But anything else, like you can't just plug an XLR into a computer and expect it to work. It won't. I've tried.
You've found a way to plug an XLR directly into your computer without going through an audio interface?
I've done XLR wirelessly.
You know those big old like mouse and keyboard inputs they had? I think you could fit an XLR into that.
Ones.
Yeah.
So there's actually an XLR to USB. There's also an XLR to Bluetooth. There's also an XLR to wireless. And I've tested all of these out.
I think a lot of those are made by Antlion is when we were testing some of that stuff.
Antlion Antlion didn't make it. They
that's right.
Subcontract it. There's actually an audio company out there that does it. But I've tested a lot of this stuff specifically for reasons and to find out whether it was quality enough to actually use anywhere else. Because guess what? If I can have a wireless mic I can walk around the show floor with and still broadcast on, how dope would that be?
It'd be amazing.
I dig it.
Should get some 5G. Maybe that'll help it or something, right? I don't know. I hear 5G's all the rage now.
I do have Cappy working on a backpack for me right now.
Ooh.
I've heard rumors of these backpacks.
Ooh.
Someday. We've had a whole extra year to work on them now.
Sub $300.
Really?
Yeah. We're
That's
figuring
ludicrous.
it out. Like we're and it's gonna be tied to the convention center. I'm super excited. Like it's like Cappy's is freaking genius. This is a whole different thing, but you know, whatever.
Speaking of audio, and there's something weird about this that I was observing the other night in a conversation that I was sitting in, and there was this audio engineer discussing with actually Deadmau5 of all people. Joel was trying to express to him that you can't take audio like a vector file and just make it bigger. So like a vector image, you can just scale it up infinitely because it's just pixels filling in and pixels filling in and pixels filling in essentially, and you just scale. And they were asking, why can't you do that with music? And then they had some answers that were so far over my head in my layman knowledge of what you can do with audio, but I was on that same camp of like, why can't you just continue to scale music? And why is it so difficult to get like that hi-fi audio experience and anywhere other than at home? And they were ultimately discussing the idea of having like a full MIDI playback session of everything that the audio engineer would do is like the most lossless version that you could have. But you're talking about hundreds of gigs worth of audio at that point that you're capturing from the most raw format possible in a studio and having them layer all the effects on top of it and everything. That's what they were looking for, is like that vector file. So if you captured something like that and were able to scale it up and down somehow, would be the theory. But audio is so different than anything else out there. We're capturing vibrations and turning them into things.
I mean, that's the way you got to think about audio as a whole. Audio is sound waves, right? So what does a sound wave do? It bounces, and it's realistically flat. Audio is flat. You have tones and pitches that go up and down, but it is a flat thing. So when you're trying to process that, you can't expand flat. There's no way to expand flat. And that's what because I've sat down with audio engineers and talked to them about this exact same thing too. I was like, how do we produce X, Y, Z? And they're like, it's not possible. You can't get more out of this because this is just what it's capable of doing. That's why you have to have more microphones, more condensers, more, like you have to increase exponentially the things that you use in order to increase the audio quality as a whole. Like in these microphones, there's chipsets and boards and all of this stuff that's in here to help make this microphone sound super crazy clear, right? There's a reason why this is as big as it is. It's because you have to have that technology in there in order to produce this sound and capture the sound waves, because it's flat. Like you're trying to take something that's flat and expand on it, and you can only bend sound waves. You can't really make them bigger. At least that's what I was explained.
Just turn your gain knob up to 11 and talk into it louder, right? Isn't that how that works? Make it bigger.
I don't know. Is it? Wow. Stop fondling your balls, Kyle.
I was just trying to put the microphone in my mouth so it would be louder. I'm a quiet person. I need it all the way in there.
So you want balls in your mouth. Got it.
Eat that microphone.
You heard it here first, guys. Kyle likes balls. Wow. No, stop it. Just we're gonna clip that for later. Don't worry.
Banned from Twitch.
No, that is no. If you should hear screaming, that's nothing.
I accidentally tuned in.
We're not gonna get banned because of that. We're gonna get banned because of them.
I don't know if our audience has been introduced to screaming yet.
Oh God!
And I know we haven't brought either of those guys on the show yet either. So they get into some wacky stuff over there. It sounds like
a little bit. Yeah, yeah. There's a clip of DJ sniffing a marker and then them telling their audience off at the same time, and I'm like, okay, all right, cool.
That reminds me of the people wandering around downtown Seattle that I avoid.
Yeah.
That don't have homes and that live underneath the overpass.
Yep.
Okay. And we have a show on this same thing that we're on right now. Like they're on this same channel.
Unfortunately.
Whose decision was this?
I don't know.
He's to my right.
I think okay, you are pointing in the right direction.
Yep. Pointing at Torben. I
gotta move it in though, so it actually is in frame.
For those of you that haven't tuned in to Screaming at the Next Level, it is quite an experience, and you're going to get all kind of VTubing and voices and opinions.
You're gonna get things like this. You son of a bitch! Why the you big shit? Why are you here?
That's mostly that. But them talking about other stuff, I don't know. As a cookie, yeah.
Being dunked in milk.
Did dunk himself in water in milk. I don't. They do some, and then he was miming as Kermit. So Cup was Kermit, and then DJ was doing the voice of Kermit for Cup while he was mouthing it. It was. I don't know what to do with those guys. I just sit there and go, okay, well, I'm just waiting. One day.
One day Twitch is going to send you a nice email that says, I'm sorry, Torben, we have had to cancel your Next Level TSC channel because of Screaming at the Next Level.
Yeah, pretty much. Fun. This is fun. Fine.
We're sorry, sponsors, but, they're entertaining. I will say they are very entertaining.
They are entertaining. Torben, are you on Clubhouse, by the way? Have you got an invite to Clubhouse? You checked that shit out yet?
I'm on Clubhouse, yes. I
Did
don't
you
know
just
how to use Clubhouse.
like mean mug Mitch with that look
do you-
right there of like,
what
are
do you
you
think?
on Clubhouse?
Hey, I don't know, man. I don't know. I talked to a couple of friends the other day. They're like, "What is Clubhouse?" You had no idea what it was, so I don't know.
That's
I know
why
that you're definitely in the cool kids club, but now you really are. It sounds like.
Apparently, I'm muted.
you're muted. Yep. No more Torben. Gone. Mute
He's
Torben.
gone. He's been muted.
Yep.
Unmute yourself.
He's redeemed a mute a host bonus. How long does this last for? Can we just like extend this for like the next?
Interesting.
This is gonna be a very odd, you know.
This is a loophole. Can you communicate via like Morse code or sign language or something? Or what are
Until
we gonna do
he
here?
does a shot. Aaron, I know you've got an extensive liquor cabinet.
Ooh, I want to see him do a shot too. How do I redeem? How do I
No,
redeem this?
no, that's like
Hey, you're
that's
muted,
a
bro.
terrible,
What are you-
terrible. I don't know. I'm not like we're like I'd never set a timer to how long.
I just muted him on Discord. I hope everyone saw that.
Mr. Producer, can you please mute him until this man takes a shot?
Yes, he's been muted on Discord. It even popped up on the stream. I hope everyone saw that. He is now disqualified from participating even into his own show tomorrow. He can't talk now. So Amanda, if you're here, this is the time to plan some content. He's just gonna get to
That's
sit
actually
there.
a good point. These definitely carry over if they don't have a time limit, right?
I feel like that, right? Aaron is the one that made the rules for these, so
This episode really took a turn, huh?
yeah,
This
it
is
did.
crazy.
I
don't
mean,
know, man.
this is almost as good as WandaVision. Holy shit!
Oh, I know, right?
I know Aaron has no
Maybe
opinions about
maybe
that.
we're in WandaVision. Maybe this is WandaVision. Like, I don't know.
Oh, does that mean we're living in Aaron's head?
I'd like to ask him that, but I'm not sure if he's gonna be able to answer me.
If he loses any more hair up there, we will probably be able to see inside of it, to see us there. So, like, how existential would that be? Can you get closer to the camera so we can see in there? Maybe we can actually, like, get a good look inside. All right, Torben.
I think we should bring him back from the dead.
You're no longer
Am I back
muted.
yet?
Yeah, you're no
Okay.
longer. You were muted for like 2 seconds, and then we just got to take advantage of you thinking you were muted for a while. So, welcome back.
I don't know.
Welcome back to the show. I could have
I
transitioned
need
to our
to set a
toucan.
timer on that. I literally need to set a timer on that, like a minute and 30 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, that might be a good idea. You got to do a show tomorrow. You wouldn't want to be perma muted, you know. So you got to rescue stuff.
I mean, if they continue redeeming it, you could be. So, if they have enough channel points, they absolutely could, which would be hilarious. So, I'm gonna change it to a minute because I think that's fair.
I
that's
guess.
fair.
I guess you served out a good punishment. That was over a minute, and we got some good fun.
That means we need a graphics package though. Whenever you get muted, so that we can throw the I'm muted with the timer over it.
Just-
right there, you go.
I don't know anyone who could make that.
I don't either.
Who made our
Alright.
fancy graphics now? They're
Oh,
also
so
pretty.
people can also save the host too and unmute them. So there
Oh.
could be this war that goes on where it's like you mute the host and then people can save the host.
Uh-oh.
Can we make a chat command which would allow the viewers to donate Bitcoin to the show? How do you feel about that?
Only full coin. Only. I don't want any of this like broken up stuff. Only full coin.
Nah, dog. I'll take all your satoshis. I'll take as many satoshis as you want to give me. That's fine.
I only take Doge.
Wow.
I only trade in Doge now, and I'm gonna go to my local grocery store one of these days and be like, "How many Doge is that for those eggs?" And they're gonna look at me like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Bro, Dogecoin. Dogecoin's where it's at. I don't care who you are.
Well,
Get Dogecoin.
that's the crazy thing about where we're at right now is that there's so many different emerging things that are just exploding out of influencers and billionaires, essentially is what it feels like, that we're just along for the ride, and you kind of got to catch that wave when it comes by every so often. And that Doge wave was a crazy thing that popped up out of nowhere. Listening to Elon Musk on Clubhouse, and out of nowhere he's like, "Oh yeah, fucking Doge." Like, I guess that's gonna go up another 20% for no reason, because where's their use case? As Mitch says, their meme coin.
It's a meme coin. There's no use case. So it actually is a meme, right? Which is why I don't hold any Dogecoin, and I don't recommend anybody to purchase or hold Dogecoin. So there you go. Not a financial advisor.
We do have a financial advisor in chat, though. Bean's in chat, and he is a financial advisor.
Oh, all right, Mr. Bean. Let's hear opinion on Dogecoin. Drop it in the chat.
Crazy Puck is his
Crazy
name.
Puck.
He is, yeah, or Pike, or I don't freaking know how to say.
Oh,
his
you mean
name.
the one with all the points? He's actually
that
like
dude.
good with all kinds of different currencies, not just the Doges and the bits and the theory. He's good with channel points as well, and I'm glad he puts them to good use too. Because when you have that many, you got to spend them on something. Save them from when Torben can be muted. That's a great use. Continue that.
Wow. Did you just say you don't know? I don't know your name. I don't know how to say your name. I thought we were friends too. Guess not.
Uh-oh.
Because you muted me. So I mean, fuck you.
Oh,
Wow.
man.
This is how we talk to viewers when Torben's around, I guess.
We don't have viewers on X, so it doesn't matter. You guys are winning.
Yes.
No, that's not true. I was there a couple weeks ago when you guys got rated. It was like 30, 50 viewers. That was like the first week we did the rebrand, actually.
One time.
Hey, you got to be there for it, right?
You need one to start a trend, bro. Right?
I'm a viewer on X. So yeah, that Clubhouse, man. So
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
I don't even know how to use Clubhouse. I was talking to Kyle about this yesterday or the other day. I don't remember. I was like, I don't even understand how to use it. I'm on it, but that's about it. Like, I don't. And he's like, yeah, you just gotta jump in voice. And I was like, nah, that does not suit my style at all. Like, I'm not just gonna randomly jump into a voice chat and start a conversation with someone I don't know. Like,
I accidentally ended up in a room today as I was scrolling by, and you hard press on something a little bit and it just enters a room on accident. I happened to be scrolling through like the darker, deep parts of Clubhouse just to see what was out there. Ended up in a room where it was 30 pluses, shoot your shot, Valentine's Day loneliness cured. And instead of pushing the quietly leave button, I pushed the raise hand button. I'm like, oh shit. Trying to get out of this room as fast as I can.
Did you shoot your shot? What happened?
No, I left. I left very quickly. I did not need to shoot my shot because I would get shot if I shot my shoot.
shot my shoot?
Shoot my shot? How would I say that? I would get shot if I shot my shot?
Shot my shit.
Shooted my shot? I'm not a grammatics person, but this sounds wrong.
How would you say that?
Shoot your shot? I don't know.
If I shot my shot, I would be shot for shooting my shot.
Yeah, by Barry, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
By the shooter.
By the shooter, yes.
Yeah. I'm down with this. I'll hold you down. I'll help.
I don't doubt that, but that's why I had to quickly leave the room instead of raising my hand and having people be like, "Ooh, look, bring him up on the stage." That's not what the
only thing that could make this better is if you tell me that DJ was hosting the room and it was a bunch of gay men.
It was not. I did not take a quick look at like who was in the room, honestly. It was more of a scrolling by, ended up in a room like, oh, what room am I? Uh-oh, Lee. That's the raise my hand button. And they were just asking people to. Well,
what happened?
The moderators get notified when someone raises their hand, and they were just asking for people to come up and
got it.
shoot their shot. So I was conveniently there at the right time, but left. Gone.
See, we haven't done the Clubhouse episode yet, so I don't know how it works when you're actually hosting and moderating a room.
Yeah, that's something we got to do this week is actually host a room and give that a little test. Because I've done one, but not for the testing purposes.
I'm curious, legitimately curious. Like, you guys gotta let me know how that goes.
Well, I think it'll be good. I think it'll be a nice little thing for even you to join in on and be able to sit in and listen to us next week when we do this.
I was thinking about this earlier, thinking about like the viral success that Clubhouse is, and in the spirit of like waves and trends that come and go, and you kind of got to ride the wave. So most platforms like rely on the users being on the platform for you to like engage with the content. What I've noticed about Clubhouse is that it does a really good job of like reaching users that are not on the platform, like notifying you about like people that you're not necessarily following or connected with or whatever, but like they're in your contacts, right? So then when they actually come on the platform, it's like, oh, so and so is on here, whereas in a traditional platform it's like a little bit more manual, a little bit more you have to seek that out. So like I'm really impressed by just the way it's sort of spreading through the ether, if you will, even though the notifications are batshit annoying.
They are extensive.
1, don't have notifications turned on. 2,
Smart.
refuse to let contacts be shared with Clubhouse because that's infringing on my privacy.
Smart.
I don't want them to know who my contacts are.
You can definitely find some strange people that join every so often. I had a furry friend of mine from back in the day that joined.
Kyle.
Yeah.
Did you join a furry room?
No, I did not join a furry room. But
It's okay. This is a safe space.
you know,
You can tell us.
you keep
fine.
numbers in
No
your phone
judgment.
from a long time ago, and you end up with those furry people in there, and they happen to be doing crazier things than they were when they were with you, and you're like, oh no, your life is a train wreck. But you know, you get that update.
I'm gonna message Barry real quick.
She'll come bursting through the door. What are you doing with furries? I'm a little worried. She'll lock that thing.
He's in there right now with one. Barry, go in there. Hey,
Yeah.
actually, you know what? Maybe I should I text her too?
Yeah, I just texted her. I said, "Is Kyle a furry?" ? Please confirm. I am worried.
This is how rumors start.
It's just how rumors start.
Kyle's a furry. True.
I mean, I've also like been accused of being or not accused, maybe is the wrong word, but I don't know if you remember at DreamHack Denver when that guy asked me if I was a furry because I was wearing a tail. That was quite a silly.
Oh, I was there for that, and I know exactly who asked you that.
Yep.
And he is.
That makes sense in hindsight. I was wearing a tail. I did invite it. I didn't realize I was.
You were just being comfortable, feeling at home. DreamHack is for all kinds of people.
I remember that. I was standing there, and the awkward conversation was freaking awesome because Mitch's face was like,
I was like, no,
no?
I'm just wearing a tail.
He's like, oh, okay. You know who it was? Eisen.
Yep.
Doesn't matter.
Yep. For sure. Eisen is the guy that I know locally that'll wear the tail to the grocery store. I don't think Mitch is the kind of person that wears that out to his local Safeway when he goes out to pick up the old beer.
I don't think I've put it on since that day. That was over 3 years ago. So it's like a once every 5 years kind of thing for sure. And I've only had it for 8 years, so I've maybe worn
Only
it
8
twice.
years.
Scarring is what that was. Getting accused of being a furry.
Yeah, that's all right.
Gonna go
Well,
inside.
I know that Barry's a furry, so I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, she's got a reindeer onesie in the closet, so I'm probably gonna go inside and see her in that now.
Yeah, but who doesn't?
I mean, here's like, this is literally, I can't show her. I can't show you her profile picture, but she's literally an Ewok in my phone.
That is the preferred type of furry for Barry, actually. If she could be an Ewok, I'm pretty sure she would just accept that life.
Anyways, moving on, because you know we've talked about a lot of furries here. Clubhouse, you know, Kyle likes going into furry rooms. It's whatever. We don't judge.
Oh boy. Yeah, there's a lot to learn about Clubhouse that I don't think you've taken the opportunity to dive into yet. And the day that you do sit down and really go through what is there, the way that I've described it for sure is Nocturne versus Diagon Alley. And the difference between how subtly Harry ends up somewhere. There's that deep dark part that you're gonna be like, yeah, you're selling me something for sure. But there's the other parts where you're like, oh yeah, my friends are in this room and I can go and hang out with them, and like, look at that, now I'm chatting, and holy smokes, there's 100 people underneath me now that are all listening to me say words. And this just organically pops up in the moment. And I think that's one of the coolest things about Clubhouse right now is that it's so in the moment. Kind of like where Twitch used to be, where you'd see someone go live and you'd jump in there and interact with them a little bit and hang out for a second. Clubhouse has that same vibe to it. And there's less interaction, but that desire to talk with someone and hear their voice is so intoxicating. It's weird. I can't really put my finger on why, but Facebook's making a Clubhouse clone now.
Kyle.
Yes.
So you're intoxicated to go into furry rooms. Is that what you're saying?
You
And go
know,
into the deep web and find the you're digging yourself a bigger hole here, buddy. Like this is not, you're not digging out, you're not jumping out here, you're just giving more ammo.
the dark web marketplace was fully shut down and they arrested the guy in Germany, so I don't have my place to go shop for my furry gear anymore.
Talking about Silk Road.
No, the other one that replaced the Silk Road. Which,
uh,
you know, the Silk Road, there was like $1 billion in crypto that was confiscated back then, in Bitcoin specifically.
That's
The
gone forever.
U.S. government now has $100 billion in crypto or whatever that is because of that.
That's dirty. That's mean. Rude.
Yeah, they just can't. They'll probably not be able to figure out how to access it because I'm sure the private keys.
They
are
lost
lost
their
or something,
password
so-
like that one dude.
Yeah, gone forever. Gone
Poor
forever.
guy. I always feel sorry for the guy that. I mean, it's cool to be the first guy to buy something with Bitcoin, right? Spending $10,000 on 10,000 Bitcoins on 2 pizzas way back in the day. But also, like, man,
How dumb do you feel?
Do you remember when Team Liquid gave away $4 million worth of Bitcoin? Because they do. So there was a tournament for StarCraft. They tweeted about this week. When it was breaking over 40 Gs, they gave away for 4th through 8th place 25 Bitcoin apiece. That
When
was
this?
like
How long ago was that?
over 5-10 years ago almost. Like I can't remember when they actually did the tournament, but it was one of those OG tournaments for Team Liquid.
I love that.
It ended up being $4 million divided between 4th through 8th.
2011, according to
Zano.
Zano.
Yeah, so about a decade ago.
Zano.
You know, Bitcoin was worth nothing back then, so it was almost as good as getting raffle tickets for 4th through 8th place. But if you held on to those things,
I want to talk to the teams that won that tournament or the players that
The
won
players,
that tournament.
yeah.
Like, so what did you do with your 25 Bitcoin that Team Liquid gave you?
Pretty weird to think
probably
of.
forgot about it, to be honest.
it's sitting in an email account somewhere. They've got $1 million+ in crypto just sitting in an email from some TO. It's like, all right, here you go, take your Bitcoin.
No, you actually have to have a MetaMask, and it has to be transferred to that MetaMask. So they would actually have to have a crypto wallet.
I guess it is true. Look at Aaron.
Imagine if Team Liquid sent 25 Bitcoin to an incorrect wallet address or a wallet address that did not exist because the end user messed something up.
Man,
You
25.
know how long that digit is? For a crypto
they're long.
wallet?
They're long, dude.
Yeah.
They're like this long. You got to read them. Make sure that all the digits are right when you're transferring. It's important. It's amazing. It's amazing.
So
This is-
I really want to talk about WandaVision.
yeah. So let's we're running out of time here too. So let's get into it. So, everyone's all caught up, right? And I'm curious. Do you even know how many more episodes are in the season? Just like I don't know how long it is. Or
I anticipate
idea.
10. Disney's been doing
10?
the 10 season episodes for all these kinds of shows, so I would anticipate we got a couple more.
Real quickly though, fun fact and fun point. Don't know if you guys saw it, but Gina from The Mandalorian got kicked off, so she's no longer working with Star Wars.
Yeah.
Side note.
Yep.
Kicked off is an interesting way to put it, but yeah.
Fired.
Fired. Okay, fired.
There you
whatever.
go. There you go.
Yeah, no. What is it? I saw a TikTok a little while ago about a dude explaining WandaVision and how it fits chronologically throughout the storyline and arc of Marvel and everything else, and why we've been needing it for so long, because it actually explains a lot of stuff that's been missing.
As you think
I don't
about
see it yet, but
how far Marvel spans as far as the actual universe goes, at least around the Avengers, Captain America is kind of the beginning of that, right? He's the kickoff of all of this, and that's back in the World War II era, so like late 40s, 40s-ish, early 40s maybe. That's probably right.
40, 42, somewhere in there, because he beat the Nazis.
Yeah,
Somewhere in there.
So like, when does WandaVision start? Like 50s, 60s?
The first episode is in like the 60s because it's like 50s, I think, right? Because it's all black and white, and then there's like 2 episodes of it's black and white, and then they're in like the 70s and then the 80s. So they've kind of gone through. I think they're in like the 90s or the aughts, right? Kind of in the.
They're in the 90s now.
Current
Yeah,
episode,
that's the newest one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's which Are we talking
So-
about the one that was just released or the one that is?
What's the just released one? Because there's one, the last one that I saw. Spoilers for anyone in chat. Their 2 kids just went from teenage, like small kids to teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the one you're thinking of?
That's the most. That was last week's technically. So there was one that was today,
Yeah.
right?
I haven't watched that one.
Oh, I haven't seen today's. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I don't think anyone technically has because it comes out in like 2 hours because it releases at 9 Pacific. So, just making
we'll be
sure we're
watching
not
it, don't
talking
worry.
about any of that stuff.
So you mentioned that this podcast or whatever you're listening to is talking about why we needed this show. Like, what? Surmise for me. Why do we need this show? Why does
From
it
a
matter?
chronological order, there's a lot of gaps that were left after the war, and a lot of information that was missing that is being filled in right now. That wasn't there. So we had a massive gap of that 5-year time span that no one knows what happened. So what WandaVision is going to effectively do is fulfill that storyline and help solve a lot of the outstanding question marks.
But where does this gap lay? Because the literally anything from the MCU can show up
It's
in
that
this.
5-year. It's that 5-year span.
In between
when Thanos snapped his fingers,
when they all
and
come
everyone
back.
came back. It's that 5-year gap that we're missing right now, that no one knows what the hell happened when everyone disappeared for 5 years and then they all came back.
Because
Interesting.
we're left with Wanda trying to kill Vision, Thanos ripping the stone out of Vision's head at the end of Avengers, and we have.
Wanda never tried to kill Vision.
Yeah, she did. She like beamed his head while fighting back Thanos at the same time. She was trying to destroy the stone so that he couldn't get
She's
it.
trying to, yeah.
Trying to destroy the stone and killing him are 2 completely different things.
It means okay, so I don't know that much, but she was blasting with her superpower both directions with both hands, one to kill someone and one to stop the stone from existing, okay?
Yes.
So like super duper powerful being blasting away at your forehead insinuates that she's trying to destroy it for sure. But she was that in that position to be that character, but she got snapped away eventually, right? Wanda was evaporated, wasn't she?
I don't remember.
I don't think so.
Was Wanda killed in the snap,
I don't remember.
or was she one of the survivors?
I think she was a survivor.
My vote would be Survivor, but
She died in the snap after Thanos completed the Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh, she did? Okay. All right.
did?
I thought she didn't. All right.
so
well,
So, have either of you heard the theory that there is an X-Men Marvel crossover coming, which with the introduction of that dude that plays her brother that showed up at the end of that one,
Quicksilver?
the most Quicksilver, that's his name, right? Because the same dude that played Quicksilver, that is Quicksilver, I guess, is the question, or is it? And that this is maybe potentially being hinted at, that this is going to become some crossover
I
coming.
believe he's from an alternate universe is the way they probably will spend that, because Quicksilver technically in the MCU is not her brother, but looks like her brother.
Oh, okay.
Because her brother is actually from Sokovia. He's not from Sokovia. Quicksilver's not from Sokovia. Yeah, I think he's from like New Jersey or something like that. He's like literally from the States. He's not from Sokovia. So I don't know the full chronological of his storyline specifically, but what I've seen and read is that he is not supposed to be her brother, but she mistakes him for her brother because he looks like him.
Got it. And so to that point, like WandaVision is very clearly to me some sort of multiverse, metaverse sort of thing going on, right? Which I don't know why that necessarily means this has to be taking place within the 5-year period within the snap. Like I feel like it could potentially be spanning larger than that, just based on my newbie understanding of what's going on.
It's that it's filling gaps in the 5-year span of things that happened that we're not aware of. So they're going to put in more details into what happened in that 5-year span and help alleviate some problems so that they can go and effectively make more movies. That's what this is all about. Like they want to go make more movies and more stuff with this and actually develop more content from there.
This does feel like the Marvel Big Bang is about to happen.
Kyle,
Yes.
I'm gonna show this on stream.
Oh no. What's it say? It's blurry.
It says Barry says, "Who told you?"
Couldn't read it.
Now I'm getting ratted out by Barry that I'm a furry. Wow, I'm gonna definitely get my haircut tomorrow at this rate. Holy
No,
smokes.
you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not.
Unless there's like
This
10
is-
inches of snow.
So, is it building up to the part where it tells me more about what happened in the 5-year period? Because like
I think so.
we've been through like 4 decades of time already, right? So I guess maybe I'm misunderstanding
So
what.
on the last episode, we saw that Vision is a husk, right? He is not alive. She reanimated him.
Yeah.
So
And he's catching on, by the way.
yeah, but he's still sentient somehow, and we have no idea how. So they're leading into what's happening because she went. So when Thanos unsnapped, or when the unsnap happened, everyone went from being gone to coming back. So now we have Wanda, who basically lost the love of her life, losing her damn mind, and bringing him back from the dead, and we have no clue why.
Because she stole Vision's body on top of all of this, right?
Right.
Yeah, so like
7 days ago. So she's been in that timeline for 7 days.
Yeah, because you imagine that the first thing that she went and did was got Vision's body back.
Get him.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then she
Immediately.
went up and built this bubble around her, and now she's got her own little happy world where her and Vision can live. Is like what's been like printed out for us to believe, in my opinion. But there's something so cool about the way that they tell this story. And we're watching the show, and then we're also there with the other characters that are in the current timeline watching the show that is this WandaVision, picking up those waves, and they're diving deep into the Easter eggs. And that was one of the things that I really enjoyed about this last episode, is that they actually dove into the Easter eggs with us. I've watched so many videos on all the different hexes and things that are popping up in here, and how 6 is a repeating number, and that's building towards a character introduction that's going to be just hot fire for all the memes.
You want to know a fun Easter egg?
Oh.
So when Agent Wu was going up to the agent who was resurrected, in Ant-Man
Good movie. by
does
the
a
way.
card trick and pulls out a card from thin air, and Agent Wu goes up to him and goes, "How'd you do that?" He's like, "What?" And so they then cut away from that, come to that part of that. Agent Wu does the same card trick with his business card and hands it to her. So we learned the trick.
This is the storytelling that I love from Marvel.
I'd missed that one. That's amazing. The
that's-
attention to detail is phenomenal.
And you think about, they're doing that for a card trick in an interaction between 2 almost completely trivial characters at the end of the day in the Marvel universe. But it's a card trick. So what are they doing to tie everything back together, since they have been orchestrating this entire Marvel build-up from Tony Stark forward to build the Avengers, to then say, oh look, it's all of the superheroes from the planet Earth. And then the Marvel universe is like, Earth. Wait till
You're
you see what
funny.
we got.
So I don't think Stark is dead. I think they're going to bring him back as another character and someone else.
Yeah.
I do not believe. I think Robert Downey Jr. is done, but I don't think that Iron Man is done.
Oh, they can't let Iron Man be done, in my opinion. And that's the joy that Marvel has with this metaverse of like, yay, we've had 18 versions of Peter Parker / Spider-Man / Miles Morales. Who's he gonna be next when he takes the mask off? It doesn't matter, because you like the mask more than you like the actual person behind it. So as long as Iron Man's flying around, it'll be close. But Robert Downey Jr.
Miles
had a
is
special
dope
thing.
as hell, and probably one of my favorite Spider-Mans, just in general.
Yep. Hey, Robert Downey Jr. built the Marvel universe on his back to what it is today. He didn't, not as much as Stan Lee and all the other people that have done all the great creative work behind it, but you look at him building the Marvel Cinematic Universe to what it is today. I don't think anyone else could have done it as appropriately as he did, and played all the way through to the point where he is now being expensive as all hell for these films. They make $1 billion per, so it doesn't really matter that much, but new blood needs to be cycled through here just to keep the MCU fresh. And that's going to be the constant churn.
I have one more. I have another question. I'm not done. I'm not done yet. So I thought that this show, WandaVision, it's obviously drawing off the lore and the canon of the MCU, right? So I thought there was source material this was coming from. So when I hear you say something like, I think Iron Man is coming back, I think to myself, well, shouldn't we already know if he's coming back if we have the source material? So like, is this totally new storytelling, and like it's totally new, and there's no and there's not like a comic series or like things in the past to kind of lean on, or is it somewhere in the middle?
Here's the main problem. The comic series themselves are too expansive. They have so many different universes and comic series. There's no way to know where they're pulling from in general. So we don't know what they're going to pull from. That's why I make the statement, I think Iron Man's coming back, because we don't know what timeline they're looking at. Because technically speaking, in one of the timelines, Hulk is the one who snapped, not Iron Man. And that's actually how the official storyline goes. Iron Man never dies. Tony Stark, or like Robert Downey Jr. wanted out. He didn't want to play that's why he died. Literally, that's why he died. He wanted out, so he snapped because he wanted out. Hulk is the one who actually snapped because he's the only one who could deal with the gamma radiation in the gauntlet itself and be able to contain it. So they diverged from the storyline already.
That makes a lot of sense. That Hulk would be the one.
That's part of the problem. And the whole burning of Hulk's arm didn't happen. That was an excuse that they put in to allow Tony to wear the gauntlet. So they changed the storyline already because Iron Man's not dead. That's why I'm saying he's coming back.
All right, I buy you now.
He's too cool of a suit to let die. It's kind of like letting Batman die. They're going to revive Batman a billion times over and over and over again because it's a cash cow. I mean, even look, Cup was Batman the other day and it was terrifying, but you know, he could be Batman.
It's interesting because they and this is one of the main problems I have with superheroes in general, is that they're never ending. They never die. They can never die because their universe is so expansive. It's like Goku getting resurrected 15 bajillion times. He never dies. He can't die. He's literally immortal. Like all of the superheroes are effectively immortal unless they're a side character that's not like a main character, even like Buck Rogers. They just don't die. They can't die because they'll just pull them from another universe.
I love it. I agree. I think I'm on board with this idea that Iron Man's coming back. I didn't realize that the whole Hulk Iron Man gauntlet snap thing was changed. So I'm on board. Sounds like a good prediction to me.
There's so much lore in there. And the fact that they get to go anywhere with it, whereas Star Wars, Disney's like, nah, we got to do this like perfectly and precisely or else everyone's going to lose their shit. Whereas with Marvel, like, it's such a fucking shit show clusterfuck already. It doesn't even matter. We could make piñatas come out of people's faces and they're going to like it because it's Marvel.
I mean, yes and no. You still have comic book fanboys who are going to fight back against canon. The one thing that Star Wars did really, really well that I agree with that Marvel needs to take a note from is that they set down an official Star Wars council. And with that official Star Wars council, they have official canon in the Star Wars universe. And so because of that, they have to follow a timeline. That's why certain things have had to happen in order for Star Wars to complete. Right? Because the council effectively said, Disney, this is what you get. This is what this is. Now they hired all these super fans to do this. So that's what Marvel and the superhero universe needs, to have the super fans be the official council to set down that canon. Because once that happens, it can't be changed. This is canon, right? Everything that's outside of this doesn't exist, doesn't matter.
And that's the true difference between the different storytelling, I believe, that Marvel gets versus Star Wars, and what we're seeing with The Mandalorian versus WandaVision. WandaVision's so outside the box, and Mandalorian is just exploring the box that we were already established with, and fan service all the way around. And you know, you get to see all kinds of great relics that you never thought you were ever going to see again in this minor adventure, whereas WandaVision's blowing the lid off of the Pandora's box that is Marvel.
Hold on. Mandalorian is establishing timeline and content that's never been produced before.
Oh, agreed, 100%. And it's
so I am on board with what they're trying to do there. 100%.
Yep. They're both doing beautiful things in different ways, and it's so cool to see two very different forms of content curated in different ways at the end of the day. but both being serviced to their fans to the utmost. Like, I'm so excited for the next 10 years of content coming out of Disney, and that's not even anything that's the original Disney IP. This is all just stuff that they've acquired and are working with universes that have been established for the past 50 to 100 years.
Like the X-Men.
Like the X-Men, bringing them around. That whole Fox deal, all those pieces.
I'm telling you.
All those pieces they've been putting together.
All right, before we get out of here, we're being told to hold on for
Hold
some
on.
reason.
Holding on.
Amanda, shut the fuck up. I can do whatever the fuck I want, okay?
Wow.
Just deal with this shit. I don't care if you like it or not. I'm here. What are you gonna do about it?
And on that
Alright,
note,
that's it.
we're
I'm done.
out of
I'm
here.
done.
We're out of here. This has been Theory Crafting on the Next Level with Mitch and Kyle and special guest Torben tonight. And if you liked this show, it's a little bit different than what we normally do, but this is the zany energy that you can expect from Next Level as a whole network. So make sure you like us, subscribe to the channel, follow us, all those wonderful things, interact in our chat, let Torben know how bald his head is, and make sure he's muted for the next time. We don't want to hear him talk anymore.
Also,
He's done.
Remind Kyle that he's a furry all the time.
And we're out of here. Thank you to Blue Microphone and Neighbor Media for supporting our show, and everyone that watched. We appreciate you very much. Fuck you, Torben, and we'll catch you next time. Bye, everybody.
Hey.